Good evening and welcome to Bizworld. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today announced several additional initiatives in the 2023 budget. The new additional initiatives involve Aidilfitri assistance, an extension of individual tax relief, and the provision of housing credit through the Syarikat Jaminan Kredit Perumahan SJKP.
Saya lihat masih ada masalah, terutama bulan Ramadan dan Aidilfitri. Maka saya bersetuju untuk menyalurkan bantuan khas keuangan Aidilfitri kepada 850,000 orang pekebun kecil getah, pesawah dan nelayan sebanyak RM200 lagi tambahan daripada yang telah diumumkan. Ini akan menelan belanja RM170 juta.
When tabling the national budget for the second reading in the Dewan Negara, he said the increase is the biggest aid the government has ever given to fishermen, paddy farmers and rubber smallholders. He also announced the extension of individual income tax relief of up to RM8,000 for net savings in the National Education Savings Scheme SSPN until 2024. This will incur losses of RM250 million per year in the government's revenue, but will benefit approximately 400,000 taxpayers. Starting April 1st, the government will expand the target of the SJKP housing credit to fixed and irregular income groups to have their first home, an initiative that is expected to benefit the B40 and M40 groups. Bank Negara forecasts the Malaysian economy to grow between 4 and 5% this year, supported by firm domestic demand. According to its governor, Tan Sri Noor Shamsia Yunus, private consumption and investment growth will be supported by improvements in labour market conditions, as well as continued implementation of multi-year investment projects and higher tourism activity.
We take into account both the upside and downside risk, and the range of the growth this year would be between 4 and 5%. And because we did mention that the balance of risk is very balanced, so the point forecast is quite similar to that announced by the MOF.
Meanwhile, inflation rate is expected to moderate between 2.8 and 3.8%. However, the outlook for inflation remains tilted to the upside, including the worsening geopolitical conflict. This will lead to higher commodity prices and extreme weather conditions, as well as stronger than expected demand from China and higher input costs due to exchange rate developments.
Interest rates, inflation, borrowing costs, higher cost of property investments. How have these factors forced sellers to adjust their prices? Will the property market remain active with positive growth? How to tackle the alarming number of sick housing projects? Money Matters this Saturday with Reda Malaysia at 5 p.m. only on TV3.
Bank Negara has introduced a standardized housing loan and home financing agreement for retail customers to help consumers understand and compare key terms and conditions in such documents more easily. The Association of Islamic Banking and Financial Institutions Malaysia, IBIM, noted that the initiative also aims to improve quality of service delivery and simplify language in such agreements, including the obligations and responsibilities of borrowers and financiers. The move reinforces Bank Negara's commitment to promoting fair consumer outcomes in the financial industry in accordance with the policy document of fair treatment of financial consumers. Financial institutions are also required to stop imposing fees on housing loan and home financing documents to lawyers from February 1st as part of the standardization exercise. The latest solvency stress test exercises affirmed that banks can withstand significant macroeconomic and financial shocks and are well positioned to sustain lending to businesses and households. According to Bank Negara, the stress test results revealed the aggregate capital ratios of the banking system will remain comfortably above the regulatory minimum. Over 80% of banks would be able to maintain capital ratios above their internal capital targets, although 24 out of 54 banks with a cumulative share of 25% of total banking system assets would report losses in at least 1 year throughout the stress horizon. Results indicate by the end of 2025, overall impairments are projected to increase to 6.9% and 7.7% of total banking system loans under the adverse scenarios driven largely by households. And that's it for Bizworld this evening. I am Raymond Goh. Thank you for watching and keep tuning in to TV3.